Hello, everyone. Rick Witzkin here. This is Pickleball. I'm here with my co-host and producer, Fabian Rodriguez, the bomb.
Crowd goes wild. What's up, Rick? How are you?
I'm super excited to talk about a lot of things today. I think our audience will really appreciate where we go today.
Yes, and we're coming off an incredible interview with Jackie and Jade Kawamoto. I think it was so awesome to have them here at the club. Hopefully you guys, if you haven't seen it already, we posted a video of us playing a few points against them. Comment below, did you watch the video? How did Rick and I do? I hit my signature shot. I won't tell you what that is, but you got to watch to figure that out. But I mean, that conversation was awesome. And they don't do a lot of podcasts. I was like very happy that they were here.
No, for sure. And really, Fabian, when you think about having the ability to see players as good as them from the very beginning, I knew them when they were just starting out. I'm like, okay, these girls, they're cool, calm, collected. You got the lefty, righty. Yeah. You've got girls that high profile tennis players played at Dayton. It's very interesting to me to hear Jackie say that she was better going into college than Jade. Yeah. And then Jade surpassed her midstream college. Look, I'm from a family of 7 other kids besides me. I played with my brothers. Like, it just was, there were a lot of correlations between what happened in their world, what's happened in my world. And boy, oh boy, that whole mindset change from them going from, okay, we're down 9-3, we're probably going to lose, to no, we're still in it, we're grinding it out. And we're going to be like that smoke detector. What was that?
Yeah, Dave Fleming said they're like a smoke detector going off in the middle of the night because they just won't quit. And if anybody's ever experienced that, just like annoying beep that will not go away, that was like a perfect representation of how they play.
Well, I enjoyed playing with them after the podcast, and certainly it's been a while, probably 8 months since I played against them, and you can just see the fine tuning of their shot selection and their ability to change gears at the right time, but never change gears at the wrong time. I was impressed. And honestly, I wish we lived closer because I'd practice them every day to improve my game.
It's a different game when you see them playing it, when you see any of the pros, but like if you get to see them going full speed, it is an entirely different game than what you play, and I'm speaking for myself here, like at open play. It's totally different. It really is, because they see things that we don't see. They place the ball the way that we don't place it. And it's incredible. And it's so motivating. And it helps me in my games moving forward because I see their decision-making, or I see kind of maybe they hold the paddle a little bit more before they hit a dink or a speed up or whatever they're doing to disguise things. And it's incredible. And us getting to play against them, they were probably going 5% maybe. And then when you actually got over and got to go play with them and their significant others and friends, the speed of the game was crazy. So,
I think our listeners would benefit from understanding that their off-court personality can be different than their on-court personality. And even maybe within the way they communicate with their partners could be extroverted. For instance, you heard Jackie and Jade, some of the things they say under their breath to each other, they would not want to be mic'd up, right? Well, Jackie and Jade are introverts in my mind compared to me. I'm an extrovert. Yeah. And that's off the court. And really on the court, they seem so mild-mannered and docile. And I even mentioned that when you think about J-Dub and even Ben and even Gabe Tardio, and you get some really low-key characters that have such a strong mental game. Yeah. I just think it's important for everybody to understand what their on-court persona is to bring out their best. Yeah. For me, if I'm not engaged in the enjoyment of the battle, I'm not playing my best. So I'm gregarious. Had a lot of people, I love watching you play. Yeah. So, but honestly, I'm not playing to put on a show. I'm playing to enjoy it and to also find ways to manage the stress and the nerves and whatnot. Yeah. So, but boy, the Kawamotos, you watch them and they just seem so calm and smooth as silk. And to know that kind of under their breath and on changeovers that there might be some spice there, I love to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Enough glazing for me, right? We've talked about them quite enough. Go check out that episode. It really is a really good episode. So I want to get into just catching up with you. I mean, I think by this point, people know that Ben Shelton is your nephew, had a great run at the Australian Open. We both, and everybody else, I'm sure that's a fan, would have loved to see him go just one extra round, if not all the way to the end. But ultimately got a great finals match, great semifinals matches. So I want to hear from you, just like your take on kind of Ben's run and just how that tournament turned out. It was going to be historic one way or another, right? In the finals, either the Djokovic was going to be the winningest again, right? Hitting 25 titles there, or Carlos Alcaraz was going to become the youngest of all time to hit a Grand Slam. So you, coming from the tennis world, give me your perspective on Australian Open recap.
I mean, really, you can't pit a better story for the Final Four than Ben that you had in the Australian Open. And the storyline of Alcaraz winning the career Grand Slam at the youngest age, 25th Grand Slam for Djokovic. That's what he was vying for, even though he doesn't have anything to prove. And then, you think about Sinner, who I think people think on the average Sinner is the best player in the world. Alcaraz is a little more flashy. It's just incredible storylines. But in regards to Ben, I was there last year in Australia, and it was the same result, right? He was playing Sinner in the semis, and he lost to him. He had set point in that first set. And I thought, man, if he won that set point, I think it could have been a turning of the tide.
Yeah.
When I watched Sinner play Djokovic this year, you could see that Djokovic had a level of play that Sinner didn't necessarily think Djokovic could play. And nobody would doubt Djokovic's mindset when he's close to the end, being able to finish at this point. But, ultimately, what I'm most proud of with Ben right now is that he plays his best tennis on the biggest stages. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, 5 Grand Slams where he's gotten to the quarters or semis. He's 23. He's
only 23?
Yes, and he's not even 23 and a half. So, he's the best American. I think almost everybody agrees with that. Fritz is playing amazing. Tommy Paul, love that kid. Ben's friends with those guys. But ultimately, Ben believes he can be number one. And he should believe that.
He 23, he hasn't even hit his prime, right? That's kind of scary to think about, that this is where he is right now, and he's got so much more to go.
You should think that, but also Alcaraz is younger. Sinner is just a little bit older, and those two guys have set the bar really high. That being said, he's 6'4", he's a lefty, the biggest serve on the tour, and what I wanted to see is him coming into the net more. Mm-hmm. And Ben can win in every way, but when you play Sinner and Alcaraz, who are magicians of the baseline, Ben could go drill for 24 hours a day, 365. But I'm not saying he can't beat them in rallies, but I am saying with that physicality of a 6'4" lefty, huge serve, he is coming to the net more. My gosh, against Rude in the round of 16, I think he was something like 29 out of 31 points. He came to the net and he won.
Wow.
I found myself during that match of Sinner, take his second serve, attack, get in there. You're a huge animal. Try and lob Ben. Ben's going to jump 7 inches in the air, maybe a foot, and he's going to smash the overhead, so they can't lob him. So even yes, I want to see that element. But listen, I'm not trying to be Ben's coach. I'm Uncle Rick.
Right.
Brian is a great coach. He's his dad. They've got a great thing going. And it's really weird, Fabian. I get a lot of random messages through Instagram and text. Hey, Rick, I think this person should be their coach. It's really odd to me that they're messaging Uncle Rick. But more importantly, what my brother-in-law has done and what my sister and what they have in a very tight-knit group for his team is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So sorry, but you're not going to get me to communicate any kind of difference in what's happening, because he's only progressed up through the years. If he hadn't gotten injured at the U.S. Open last year, that'd be another Grand Slam, I think. Yeah. Even Manarino, who he lost to, due to retire, said Ben would have beat me, probably got on quarter semis again. that's phenomenal. Kudos to him. And, he's in a relationship now. Some people thought, he's in a relationship with Trinity. Is his game going to go south? They're both world-class athletes, being amazing. So I think their level of focus is perfect for each other.
So you mentioned something there. You said due to retire, right? So that's an aspect that I really hadn't followed before. Like Kristen and I just started watching tennis and really getting into it. And so that was kind of a storyline for Djokovic's journey to get to the finals. Was two of his matches, the other person retired, didn't finish the match. So you being a tennis player, former tennis player, Division I at Alabama, have you been in these long 3-4 hour battles where your body is seizing up, you're throwing up, and you're on the verge of, can I continue, can I not? Because there was also controversy with somebody coming out and just like massaging Alcaraz's legs. And so all of this stuff adds to the drama. You have been there, I'm assuming. What is that like?
Yeah, well, to be clear, I did play pro tennis, but I did not play in a 3 out of 5 set Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched my brother growing up do that. In fact, Todd Witzkin had the longest match at Wimbledon. It was 5 hours and 40 some minutes against Greg Holmes back in the 80s. And that was then superseded by a match that lasted like 3 days. It was John Isner and I think Mahut from France. They had an epic battle that blew all the timelines out of the water. But it does matter the condition and shape physically and mentally when the women don't play that, but the men do 3 out of 5 sets. Now, what happened in Alcaraz's match was quite interesting because when you think about the rules of the game, you cannot ask for a 15-minute injury timeout for cramping. It was pretty obvious to most people watching that Alcaraz was cramping. And I've seen this a million times where a player who's playing professionally, playing for money, they will kind of fudge, if you will, the cramp. Oh, my calf, I think I pulled it. Oh, my groin, I pulled it. Zverev was not happy about that. And I don't blame Zverev at all. Was Alcaraz playing the rules a little bit by claiming he had a groin injury when we clearly saw his cramping in the beginning? Yeah, but at the same time, I think that the mental toughness of knowing that this has happened a million times where players fake an injury so they're not going to be penalized, because otherwise he's on the clock. If he's cramping in 5 minutes, he's getting game penalties, point penalties, and possibly lose the match. So it is one way to skirt the issue with still being alive in the match, of getting a 15-minute reprieve. I mean, he's taking these electrolyte tablets while he's getting his, what's that telling you?
Right.
Clearly he's depleted. He's cramping. I've cramped a ton and way more in my 40s and 50s than I did ever when I was younger. But I do know this, that if you get mustard packets and you get pickle juice and you get electrolyte drinks, you can get back in 5 or 10 minutes, no problem.
Mustard packets?
Mustard packets. I'm telling you, the vinegar. I've been in a lot of cramp situations like you can't believe. I literally was in a match in Chicago and I had a convertible and we had to go because it was darkness. I was cramping. I could not drive my car, and my good friend Cheryl drive my car. I couldn't even bend down to get in the car. I had to stand up erect in the back of a convertible, and all the refs are passing my car. Rick, are you okay? Are you okay? Because we're into the final game of a gold medal match against Jaime Onsines and Eva Welsher, Beth Bellamy. And literally I'm downing all this pickle juice. My good friend Paul went to the store and bought. So within 10 minutes, I couldn't stand. And then all of a sudden, 10 minutes pickle juice and mustard packets. I was ready to go and I finished the match. So yes, that's a very real thing.
Insider tip, pickle juice and mustard packets. I would have never known.
Fact. So just elaborating on Ben a little bit, I think that more so than ever in his 3+ year career, I think he's totally ready to play the smaller tournaments, even Masters Thousands, which have all the best players, but you play matches every day rather than every day. I think he's totally ready to not lose to players that are a little weaker like he did last year. He's playing great at the Grand Slams. I mean, if you say who's the 3rd best Grand Slam performer in the last 7 or 8 Grand Slam tournaments, I'd say Ben next to Alcaraz and Sinner. But I think now he's ready to play those other tournaments at a super high level. His trajectory's there.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing that insight. I don't think people can get that really anywhere else. So keep tuning in for stuff like that. Okay, so we talked about Australian Open. One of the things that you talked about, and you've mentioned this actually on several, and I don't know why I'm still surprised at this, but every time we have a big name guest on this show, like I played with them at this tournament or this tournament at this tournament. So would love to get a little bit of backstory on just like some of the tournaments that you've, like some of the big tournaments that you've played in, and kind of what that experience was like for you. Cause I think people still don't know the full depth of the Rick Witskin prowess and story and the success that you've had in pro pickleball. I mean, by God, if people don't know by this point that you're a co-founder of a senior pro league, what are you doing? But before even all of that and before this podcast, you were killing it and are still killing it on the court.
Yeah, I think it's really important for everybody when they start their journey, whether it's amateur or a professional, to decide, do they like singles? Do they like mixed? Do you like gender doubles? Those are three very different vibes when you're out there on the court. And oddly, I liked all three. And I mean, tennis really, from a singles perspective, took me into tennis of pickleball, which became my first love. And then, when mixed doubles, which really wasn't a thing ever in my tennis career, I'm like, man, I really like playing with women and having that proper balance of them understanding me and me understanding them. Maybe the fact that I had 3 sisters and a couple daughters and, that mixed doubles was really fun. And then I won in 2022. What I'm most proud of to date is I won 7 different gold medals in 2022, meaning 7 different partners. I think I won 20 gold medals in 2022 in men's, but I had 7 different male partners. So to have that felt really, really great. But yes, if I played all the big tournaments, I sure have. Did I play Tyson in the US Open? Yes. Have I played a lot of these higher day school, like all over? But for me, the US Open and then the Nationals were the 2 biggest tournaments of the year. So Ben's Grand Slams, my US Open Nationals. I always felt, Fabian, that it was a little bit of a disadvantage to be from Indiana and we're playing indoors, and then poof, in April, you're going into 87 and super humid Florida. There's a lot of even senior pros that now have second homes down in Florida and they're training there a lot. I'm singles. I'm the biggest guy out there and I'm coming from air condition or heat indoors to playing outdoor singles, 8 matches to get to gold. I saw myself playing yesterday on Pickleball TV in my US Open match a couple years ago. And by the way, I think the guy's paddle was delaminated and it really pissed me off. I like the guy, but anyway, that's a whole nother story about paddles. But the perspective of, can singles day affect your mixed doubles day? Can mixed doubles day affect your men's day? That all matters. So I played split age. I got bronze in split age with some great partners, but you could literally play 5 events as a pro and you could hurt yourself later in the week. So you have to determine what's the most value, what's the best financial payout. Is there spacing? I will tell you this about the US Open. So this is crazy, but Scott Moore, who has probably got the most medals of senior pro pickleball, he's been around for quite some time, and how he's playing in his 60s is unbelievable right now. But he and I, when I was coming on as a 49-year-old into 50s, he's like, Rick, he's like, I want to play senior pro pickleball with you. I'm like, okay, you're a legend. Let's do it. Well, we started out the year not well, probably 4 or 5 tournaments. He's a big guy. I'm a big guy. He likes the left. I like the left. And we lost some teams we should never lose to. I felt like I wasn't seeing many balls. He might feel like he wasn't seeing a lot of balls. Who knows? The chemistry wasn't there. And so before the US Open, we said, hey, let's just make this our last tournament. So it's just not going that well. And, my wife and I were at dinner before the US Open, and this is in Naples, and we overhear a table talking next to us. And they said, oh yeah, Scott Moore, he said that his partner really wasn't like playing that well. And, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not seeing a ball. How can I not play well if I'm not seeing a ball and I'm being isolated away from? But that like turned my crank. Like, whoa, I'm hearing voices from people that I don't know talk about me as the fall guy here. I'm not okay with this. Did I ever tell Scott this? No, I didn't. If Scott sees this, it's okay. I love you like a brother. He's a good man. And I'll be darned if we didn't go and win the US Open that year.
With Scott? With your partner?
Scott,
Oh, wow.
with Scott. We hadn't done well. Here I'm hearing my partner's downgrading me to people. I'm like, I'm going to show everybody that I'm playing great pickleball and probably better than my partner. That's what I want him to show. And I did. Scott played really well too. We beat Mircea and Granada in a really good gold medal match. I think that was 2023. But, you know, it just goes to show you, look, I've been in tennis world and pickleball world. I still am. So many times people think this is their last tournament. This is their last match. They didn't get to the top 100. And all of a sudden they have a breakthrough. I mean, winning that US Open with Scott was the most rewarding moment of my pickleball career. And it was because we were down and out and had no chance to win it based on the year that we had prior to that event.
How big is the US? Like when you're playing and winning gold, how many rounds did you have to get through? And how many people I want people to understand like how big the US Open is. So when you play that year, like how many people are playing that tournament? How many rounds did you go through?
And well, the beauty of the US Open for the senior pros is they do have a senior pro men's day and a senior pro women's day. So we actually get all of the attention on that day. There's not an open pro conflict. So all eyes were on us. And I think there was probably 32 teams in the draw there. I think we had to win 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah.
So there is a physicality part of it. When you are playing on that zing-zang court and you have overhead coverage, even though it's not a boxed and air-conditioned indoor facility, it is nice to not have the sun beating down. And so we played on the zing-zang a lot, thanks to Scott really being a legend. And we benefited from that.
That's awesome.
One other story I have to share with you is, and this is, again, people, don't ever think that you can't defy all odds to go have your best result. Beth and I had both been playing the nationals. We were both singles, doubles, and mixed doubles players. Right before mixed doubles, the night before, we both finished gender doubles. We played 7 matches. We were strung out. She was hurting, like she was limping. I'm like, Beth, I'm totally good if we just pull out of mixed doubles. Like you've had a horrific day and night, and I've been cramping. Let's just talk at 5 in the morning. She calls me at 5. She's like, Rick, I just think we shouldn't do it. I'm like, Beth, no problem. Let's just text the term director. She calls back 20 minutes. Rick, I think we should give it a try. I'm like, Beth, if you want to give it a try, let's give it a try. We have nothing to prove. We won enough. I'll be damned if we didn't go out there and beat team after team after team. We beat Gingrich and Dawson in an awesome final. We won the Nationals.
Jeez.
We literally 8 hours prior were not playing the event, and we won it. And it was just a beautiful thing. And I just want to encourage all those people that are doubting themselves and their brain, their bodies working against them, know that you can have a stronger mind prevail and you may have your best result. Quite frankly, I think it took some of the pressure off us. We know we're both physically strung out, mentally strung out. Screw it. Let's just go have fun.
Yeah.
And we did.
Sometimes that's all it takes too.
All it takes.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes. So kind of on that note, you know, we're recording live at Third Shot Pickleball. We don't have a guest today, so we don't have a signature shot, but we do have an opportunity for a Rick's tip of the week. So what can our listeners learn from today from Rick that's going to help their game?
Well, I want everybody to almost have 2 different personalities on the court. I just taught a cardio pickleball class, but I always like to give nuggets of wisdom and technique and strategy. And I told one of my students, Erica, I said, Erica, you know, you need to have offensive mindset, defensive mindset, in neutral. Almost a split personality. You're different people during the same point. And she's like, yeah, I'm kind of defensive. She was saying, hey, when she split steps before they hit, she kind of stuck there. I'm like, look, you've got to turn it on, you got to turn it off, and you got to be in that neutral vibe too. So my general perspective of coaching tip is, just because you hit a really good shot in your mind doesn't mean that you are entitled to stay on the attack. People can hit a lot of great low volleys. They can hit a slow, resetting low volley off a great drive you hit, and you can't attack the next ball. So I want the tip of the day to be the entitlement tip. Don't feel like you're entitled to continue to be aggressive because you hit a great shot without analyzing your opponent's quality return. They're a good defensive player. They're good at resetting. You should not continue on that offensive role. Have a split personality. Have a stick shift like I used to have. I don't know if you ever had one of those, but you got to go from first to third to fifth to third to first. Keep shifting gears, people.
How do you train your brain to do that? Right? Like, what are the things that you're looking for? Or is it just like an always be aware kind of mindset of, like, even to your point, just because you hit a great offensive shot doesn't mean it's not going to come back. And I think right now, kind of where I'm at in my game, I stop, right? I hit the good shot. I admire the good shot. And then the shot that comes back just passes me by. And I'm like, shoot, I was just watching that point go by, right? Because I thought it was going to end.
If you lean into all of the videotaping being done of your matches and your play, here at Third Shot, we've got 15 cameras on 15 courts. You can save my play. You go back and you watch. Oh my gosh, I hit a good shot there. They hit a good response. I tried to hit another good shot and I missed it. Or I tried another good shot and I tried to drive through them and they were fully set because I was hitting from below the net and they took a high volley and pounded my partner. Like, you literally should watch yourself play more and you'll start having more awareness by that observation of your play. So I think that's one thing. Obviously, having a coach that can kind of tell you. I mean, I've had just this week, people say, Rick, I want to take lessons from you. Do you think I should take a 1-on-1, a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, or a 4-on-1? I'm like, look, let's define your goals. And then I'll tell you if you should be in a 3-on-1 where I'm playing just slightly better than you and the other two players, and that'll show a lot of your deficiencies. Or I'm going to sit in a chair just like this and have the four of you play, and I'll break down everything you did right and wrong during that session. Or maybe it's a 1-on-1 where I'm, drilling with you and stopping you every time and it's not annoying anybody else. Like, I think that's very important for every person who's listening to decide, is it better for them in a 1-on-1, a 4-on-1, 3-on-1, 2-on-1? And it could be multiple. Yeah. Maybe you have a lesson on Monday and on Friday you have a 4-on-1. So I think watch your videos and discuss with your coach what they think is best in that capacities of 1-on-1 to 4-on-1, semi-privates versus private.
Love it. Love it. All right. So one last thing that I want to touch on, we're just getting close on time here, is just paddles. We saw a lot of shakeups on paddles, and if you want to talk about it, you can. But there's just a lot going on in terms of players coming into this 2026 season, switching paddle brands, the sponsors are dropping or trading. We talked about Anna Lee. We saw that, the rumors about the Johnsons no longer being with Franklin, that came true. Gabe Tardio went to a new paddle. Paddle Tech announced that they're now like the Pro XR merger. You were a Paddle Tech, are a Paddle Tech sponsored athlete, but is there any updates there and kind of what you're looking forward to in paddles in 2026?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is odd timing here. I received an email yesterday from Paddle Tech that I'm well aware that there's now new ownership. And I had heard from a couple of my senior pro friends that they had been either dropped or offered a shell of what their prior relationship was moving into this year. So I received an email that they are restructuring their offer to me. And this is somebody I haven't even talked to, which, to answer your question, I'm not mad about that, by the way. I know I will get a good paddle sponsor. I will be a free agent at the end of February. In case anybody's watching that's a paddle owner, here's what I think. If I owned a paddle company, you look at senior pros versus open pros, absolutely open pros, have a ton of viewership, MLP, PPA, you got a great visual on TV. The NPL has great visuals too with the Pickleball TV and YouTube channel. I saw myself on US Open yesterday here at the club playing my singles match and then for the gold. And then I also was on for a quarterfinal doubles match yesterday. And that was on Pickleball TV. So, do I think open pros are more valuable than senior pros for a paddle company if you're just talking about player and visibility, I do. But if I was a paddle owner, for instance, I'm just going to tell you and lay it out there for me. I'm coaching pickleball at the middle school level. I've got a call-out meeting with 60 kids on Friday here in Zionsville, Indiana. Do you think they are curious which kind of paddle I use? Yeah, they all ask me that. In fact, mine has my name on it. And they're like, whoa, that's cool. In addition to that, I'm a co-founder and owner of a multi-million-dollar league called the National Pickleball League. Now it's Champion Series Pickleball, CSP. We just rebranded. I also run 25 camps a year. A lot of higher income people, and I do it inside the U.S. and outside the U.S. I'm a co-owner of 2 clubs here in Indiana. Okay, do you think I have some capability of having orders and purchases of certain paddles more than others? You better believe I do. Yeah, I do. I play professionally, going to Nashville next weekend. Just won the split age and the 40 and over in St. Petersburg. So I'm still out there on the scene playing, give a lot of private lessons. So this podcast, here I am, I have a podcast with you. Is there value in those things? What would you say? If you were a paddle owner, what would you think about the value of those different connections? Oh, by the way, one more thing. Not that I thought about this till now, but yeah, I do go to Wimbledon and the Australian Open and wearing clothes, and sometimes they pan on me. This is all about Ben. I don't even deserve visibility there, but it happens. Yeah. So what do you think?
I think if I were a paddle manufacturer, a paddle brand, you are the exact type of person that I would be looking for, right? You've got exposure, you've got audience, you've got kind of built-in history with the sport, and you've got your hands in so many different things. Like I think a brand would be foolish not to look at somebody like you and be like, yes, we want to invest energy, effort, money, and technology essentially with this paddle in your hands, right? Like I think your influence spreads throughout many different places, right? So I think it would be foolish for somebody not to be like, oh, Rick's a free agent. Yes, let's work together, right?
You know, and also, Fabian, the metrics for a lot of companies are, hey, okay, we're going to sponsor you. We're going to give you free merch. And here's a code you can tell your students to put in. So then they get a kickback from that sale, and it clearly identifies a sale. The problem with that is that Paddle Tech has no idea how many paddles I've sold. Yeah. They have no idea. Why? Because I go to 25 camps and people aren't always remembering the code, or if I give them a card, but I see them at the next year's camp, like, oh, you did buy that Paddle Tech. So in Paddle Tech's defense, they don't know exactly how many paddles I was responsible for selling. Right. And it's not always a purchase that happens. You know, there's a lot of people that buy paddles online. You can tell them you're going to give them a code and go to the manufacturer's webpage. But a lot of people buy them on Amazon, on a slightly used. Yeah. So you have that somewhat unidentifiable X factor of paddles that have been sold by your entity of sponsorship without you knowing the exact metric of paddles that have been sold due to their influence. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. And right now, like, comment below, like, what do you guys want to see Rick playing with? Everybody's on notice. Everybody's on blast. You've heard Rick talk about not liking hot paddles. Well, guess what? He might be playing with a hot paddle. You better watch out. You thought he was winning before? Put a Yola in his hand. See what happens. Yola, bring the money. What's up? I want to know what Rick's going to play with next, because the pop that we get off of this Paddle Tech with the technology that's out there and some of these other paddles, I'm literally afraid for people. I'm afraid.
One thing's for sure. For 8 years, I haven't even thought about another brand in my hands. And I'm big on loyalty. And Curtis and Nanette, they were loyal to me. To be honest, we had handshake agreements, and I love those. Now it's getting quite mechanical, and to not even communicate, that's hard. Yeah. But it's business. No pro athlete should be in a sensitive moment. It's just business, and you know what it is. Yeah. So I look forward to still supporting a company. Doesn't have to be made in America. I certainly like American products, but also that relationship matters to me. I'm at a point in my career that the relationship with a company. I mean, there's a guy that has a paddle that I think it looks like a great paddle, and he's playing great with it. And some of his senior pro friends play with it. It's called Slap Life by Joe Pariso. Like Joe, I don't know if he's so young that he can't offer me something close to what I've gotten from the market with a salary, but and he's got orange and black, and I like orange and black, so something I may consider too.
Rick wants that Anna Lee Waters money, so who's gonna come up with that?
Don't be that stupid. Don't
give
pay
us
me
10
anything
million.
close. No,
I'm also looking for a paddle sponsor, so just know I talk to a lot of people as well. This has been awesome, Rick. Thank you for sharing a lot of your stories. I just want to mention one more thing. If you haven't already subscribed, commented, or liked any of our content, please do so. That really goes a long way for helping us grow this channel and just spread the word of This Is Pickleball. But additionally, for all of our local listeners, people here in the Indianapolis area and regional area, we've got a huge tournament coming up March 13th through the 15th. It's called the Spring Invitational here at Third Shot Pickleball in Indianapolis. It's going to be PPA Masters themed. So just think white outfits, very classy affair. We've got men's, women's, and mixed open divisions with total cash prizes of up to $5,250. So if you're one of those Moneyball players that's always looking to travel, play at new places, and just make some money, this is a perfect opportunity for you. But our tournaments are different. They're more of a vibe. They're an experience. They're competitive. They're fun. And I'm so excited for what we've got going on in March with the Spring Invitational. So if you're in the area, hit us up. The links will be everywhere. They're in the show notes. So come out and play. We would love to see you.
I also would like to let our listeners know that next week we're going to be having a podcast, and it's something that's happened organically here in Indiana. Third Shot Pickleball and 5 other clubs are coming together to implement an incredible league. And I'm really proud of how that's happened. And we'll bring on 1 or 2 of the other co-founders and league director, and we're going to explain our model. You can benefit from this model if you know how to work with others and be teammates.
Yep.
Trust me. So I'm excited for that. And remember, if your game's not becoming to you, you should be coming to me, or you should be coming to This Is Pickleball, because we will help you put your game on a much better path.
Love it. Follow us everywhere at This Is Pickleball Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Rick, thank you so much. Ripskin
vibes, baby.
Ripskin.
Let's go.
Thanks so much. We're out.